Will you believe me if I told you that a broken toy once saved my life? On an operating table. When I had nothing left, not enough money, no hope, just a face from the past, and a toy I'd forgotten I ever gave, saved me now. I was lying there, unconscious, machines beeping, doctors rushing, and finally I got saved. How I got saved? It all began with a boy I didn't even know and a toy I thought was useless. I was in class 8, a regular boy from a middle-class home. On my birthday, my grandfather gifted me a bright red robot toy. It blinked, it moved, it talked. I loved it. I played with it for days until one day it stopped working. Frustrated, I shouted, "Useless thing," and threw it outside the gate. Just seconds later, a poor boy walking past picked it up from the mud. He hugged it like it was treasure and ran off. I watched him from the gate, confused. Why is he smiling like that? It's broken. The next morning, I saw him again under the banyan tree, still playing with that broken robot, laughing with his little sibling. I walked up to him. "Want me to fix it?" He looked at me with bright eyes and nodded. That night, I cleaned the robot, taped the joints, reused parts from old electronics. The next day, I returned it to him. He hugged the robot and shouted, "Robot boy fixed it." That smile, that one smile changed me. From that day forward, I started collecting broken toys from neighbors. I repaired them, painted them, brought them back to life. Then I began gifting them to kids on the streets, to children in the orphanage nearby. I wasn't rich, but I gave what I had: time, skill, and care. I developed a passion for robotics. It became my dream. But we couldn't afford proper coaching or courses. So I learned from what I had: old gadgets, library books, quiet trial and error. Years later, in a school project competition, I built a working robot from scrap. The chief guest, a robotics professor, was amazed. "Who taught you?" he asked. I smiled and said, "Broken toys." He said about his passion of fixing toys and gifting poor kids. That man was very much impressed and sponsored for my higher studies. Life moved on. I graduated, got a decent job, married, had a son, Iran. We weren't rich, but we were grateful. I still visited the same orphanage every year, still gave what I could. One day, I saw my son throw away a brand new toy. "This is boring," he said. I felt that he needs to learn the value of each penny and to learn that not everyone gets everything. I didn't scold him, I just took him to the orphanage. There, kids were laughing, playing with cracked, mismatched, broken toys. Aaron looked up at me and asked, "They're smiling with these old things?" I said yes, because to them, even one toy is a dream. Aaron realized his actions and gave a warm smile to his father. On the way home, I suddenly clutched my chest and collapsed. Heart attack. They rushed me to the hospital. The doctors asked us to pay a huge amount for the operation immediate. Only then they can begin the surgery. My family had no way to arrange it. Then, a voice spoke, "Start the operation. I'll take responsibility." When I opened my eyes, I was confused. I turned my head and saw a young female doctor standing beside me, smiling, but teary-eyed. I whispered, "I didn't even pay. Why did you help me? You didn't even know me." She didn't reply right away. She walked to the cupboard beside the bed and pulled out a glass case. Inside it was a faded, red robot toy. Worn, scratched, but still intact. I gasped, That robot." She nodded. "I'm the sister of the boy you gave this to. Years ago." Her voice trembled. "He died of cancer, but he saw you as a superhero. That broken robot you gave him, he didn't stop smiling for days. We were poor, barely affording food, but that toy, it made him feel alive and happy in his last days." My eyes filled with tears. I didn't know. I just gave it because it was all I could fix." She smiled gently. "You fixed more than toys that day. You gave my brother joy, peace. That smile kept me going. Years passed. I studied in a government school, worked through nights, and became a doctor. She paused. Today, I finally paid for my brother's smile. Till weak, I looked at her and asked again, "You were the one who... How did you even know it was me?" She didn't speak. Instead, she gently lifted the hands and pointed to my forearm. There was a tattoo, compartments softly. "This, you had this tattoo even back then, when you gave a broken robot to my little brother. That's how I remembered you. You weren't just a boy who gave a toy. You were the first person who gave us joy." She thanked me, then quietly stepped away. Weeks later, I returned home, alive, healing. I opened a drawer, took a fresh box of repaired toys, and placed a label on it. To foundation, fixing more than toys. Liabilities. My son Aaron looked up and asked, "Appa, can I come with you to the orphanage this time?" I smiled, and just like that, the chain of kindness clicked into gear again. One broken toy, one shared smile, and the heart it reached saved a life. Years later. Sometimes we're all like Shan, caught up in life, forgetting how much a small act of kindness can truly matter. What we throw away without a second thought might become someone else's greatest treasure. Teach your children not only to have, but to value. Remind them that it's not about how much you give, but how deeply you give it. Because even a small toy, given with love, can become a lifeline. What we give today may return tomorrow, when we least expect it and when it matters the most.